An Irving man, disgusted by the Orlando terror attack, is turning to the power of the written word to express it. Last month, Nick Napoli got to meet President Obama after sending him a heartfelt letter about the positive strides being made for gay Americans. Now he feels compelled to write again. Fox 4's Alex Boyer is in the Oaklawn area of Dallas with a story you'll see only on Fox. Alex.
Well, Steve, as Texans continue to show up here to the Legacy of Love Monument in Oaklawn to pay their respects to those people who were hurt and killed in the Orlando massacre, Napoli is sitting behind a computer. He's carefully trying to craft the words to hopefully once again reach the president.
Nick Napoli has a way with words. The 22-year-old writer is openly gay. He and his boyfriend live in North Texas. Life is good, but it wasn't always that way.
I would have kids follow me home and taught me.
Napoli says middle school was hell.
I even had one time a mother drive by in her minivan as her son yelled out a gay slur.
Thankfully, things got much better in high school, and when the U.S. Supreme Court passed marriage equality, Napoli felt compelled to write to the commander-in-chief.
I wanted to thank President Barack Obama for everything he's done over the last 8 years regarding the LGBT community.
In that letter written in March, Napoli talks about how he was literally tortured, harassed, and bullied for being gay. He disclosed being diagnosed with HIV and how the Affordable Care Act saved his life.
Without the Affordable Care Act, the medications I take would cost me roughly $4,000 a month.
Napoli emailed that letter to the White House. A month later, he got a call from the president's press office inviting Napoli to attend a state dinner in May and meet the president.
It was a once-in-a-lifetime experience to have.
Napoli says he got to spend about 5 minutes with the president and first lady. He snapped several photographs of his trip to D.C. Napoli returned to Texas with a sense of hope for the future. Then the Orlando massacre happened, and that hope diminished.
I wept. We don't know what's going to happen next.
So Napoli felt compelled to write to the president for a second time.
If he doesn't hear the cries of the thousands of other Americans, then hopefully he will hear my cry again.
This time the letter has a darker, more somber tone. Napoli says he means no disrespect to the president, but also believes he owes it to himself and the rest of the LGBT community to express his anger with the current state of the nation.
I must withdraw the earlier statements in my letter because I no longer live with that hope. Instead, I live in fear. I now have to watch my back when I walk down the street at night and hold my car keys as a weapon. I have to wonder if that holding my boyfriend's hand or kissing him in public is going to enrage someone enough to attack.
And Napoli is still tweaking that letter. He says he hopes to email it to the White House by the end of the week. He also plans to publish it on a popular website called HIVequal.org. Now, I contacted the White House press office to see if they had any comment, but so far, as of this afternoon, Steve, I have yet to hear back. Back to you.
Alex, thank you.